Okay, so welcome to the webinar. I want you guys to sit back and relax. I want you to understand that what you're going to see today is information for you. That's the extent of it, okay? I don't want you to feel like you are pressured to do anything. I want you to get back with the person who invited you on this call and talk further with them, figure out what is important to you and why you'd want to get involved with them, and have them help you get started if you find value in what I'm going to share with you today. We're going to talk about Karatbars International today. We're going to talk about finances. We're going to talk about gold. We're going to talk about your future here. And I'm going to start off with a couple of questions. First question is, what are your financial objectives for the future? Think about that. Most people plan their vacation that's coming up better than they plan their financial future. What kind of plan do you have for your family, your freedom, your security, your wealth, your lifestyle? Again, people don't think about this in a lot of depth, and they need to. They also don't think about their money. I want you to think about it right now, and I'm going to be going through a lot of details with you today, but the value of your money, the money that you have in the bank, do you expect it to increase or decrease over time? It's an important question, and most people never ask themselves, what about my money? What if I couldn't get cash? What if my cash doesn't work anymore? I'm not here to scare anyone about anything that's going to possibly happen in the future. I'm just talking about reality from history, and we've got to look back at history to understand what has happened and then how we can protect ourselves in the future. And then what does Karatbars offer? Does it have a path for financial freedom, gold as a store of value, a vehicle for financial independence and financial independence for your generations to come? And you can all do that with a free customer account or an affiliate account. We have a beautiful program here to offer you today. But I'm going to tell you, nothing ever changes until you reprogram your brain. And unfortunately, we're not educated in school. Doesn't matter if it's high school or college or even a master's degree, extra education. They're not educating people on money, and they don't understand what money truly is. They have to go back and look at history to understand that, and we're going to be covering some of that today. I'm also going to make this statement: you don't get paid for what you know. You only get paid for what you do with what you know. And this is going to make a lot of sense here in a few minutes. Our greatest opportunity can come from this, the root of the problems that we see today. And I put up here a dollar bill. It could be a yen, it could be a euro, it could be a pound. It's the currency that is produced by a government that is a debt-based monetary system. So our dollars are nothing more than debt money today, right? And we have a lot of debt. And you've heard about it on the news, you've heard about it on different YouTube videos that you probably watched about whatever happens to the dollar happens to everything that you have held in dollars. And you need to understand that fact. So if all your wealth is held in paper, mutual funds, financial instruments, cash in the bank, those types of things, derivatives, my background's banking, the paper derivatives that people hold their wealth in today, it's scary, some of the stuff that they're doing with our finances today. A lot of financial planners out there, if you ever have a financial planner, make sure you interrogate them, is what I would tell you. Do a big interview with them on what they've done with their own finances. Are they going to do something different with your finances for their benefit, their commission schedule, or are they going to do things that they have done to protect their own family's wealth? You have to be careful, and you need to answer those questions so you have a comfort level of giving your money to somebody to manage for yourself, okay? We're seeing people work harder today than they've ever worked, and they're risking their hard-earned savings on riskier investments because they need some type of a return. They're not having a yield from savings accounts any longer. And unfortunately, most people are having a tough time paying the bills. The millennials today are going to have a lot more challenges paying the bills, and you find that their values have changed from some of the older generations because they just don't see how they can do it anymore. They have a lot more student debt today. They have jobs that don't pay very well. It's difficult for them to just manage living on their own. That's why you see a lot of people staying at their parents' homes for so much longer than they did in the past. They're not independent. They're still dependent upon their families for support. I could have put a young person's picture in here like I have. I could have put an older person's picture, because we're seeing that the older generation is having to work a lot longer just to be able to survive, because the government's Social Security and the benefits that they have aren't covering the increase in cost in today's world. And so we see people just totally hanging on by a shoestring. They're just overwhelmed with debt, and they don't have any savings left. They've had to use those savings accounts to pay for the bills just to get by. The credit card debt today, in this particular day and age that we live in, it's like $318 billion a month in interest charges for credit card debt. Just the interest on the debt. Can you imagine having credit card bills where you're having to pay the minimum because you can't afford to pay more, but it just keeps stacking up, and they keep extending credit to more people? It's just a big challenge for a lot of people. The declining purchasing powers is a result, and has caused many families to face a lot of financial hardships. You're seeing everything increase, right, in cost. But is it really increasing in cost, or is it that your dollar just doesn't go as far as it used to go? You have to ask the other question too. And I would tell you that our dollar isn't as valuable as it used to be. How did this happen? That's the big question for everyone. It seems like we're working harder than we've ever worked before, and it's getting harder and harder to just survive. Well, this is how. There's two theories of economics. One's the Austrian theory of economics, having a currency backed by something like gold, and then having the Keynesian theory of economics. And John Maynard Keynes said this statement: Lenin was certainly right. There's no more positive or subtle or sure means of destroying the existing basis of society than to debauch the currency. By a continuing process of inflation, governments can confiscate secretly and unobserved an important part of the wealth of the citizens. The process engages all the hidden forces of economics on the side of destruction, and does it in a manner that not one man in a million can diagnose. The crazy part about it is that all of our central banking systems around the globe today are based on the Keynesian theory of economics. Print your way out of the problem. Okay, J.P. Morgan, everybody knows him from the past, J.P. Morgan Chase today. He was a very successful entrepreneur and banker. And in 1912, he made the statement, gold is money. Everything else is credit. It's funny because in 1913, they started the Federal Reserve Bank. I want you to understand that the Federal Reserve, our Federal Reserve, is as federal as Federal Express. It's not a government agency, it is a private bank. And with that private bank, they have manipulated our currency for years, and we're going to be talking about some of the history. When the Federal Reserve started, they started building debt notes. You'll notice this is a $50 gold certificate from the Treasury. It was a Treasury bill. And if you read the information on this bill, it says this certifies that there have been deposited in the Treasury of the United States of America $50 in gold coin payable to the bearer upon demand. See, this bill was just an exchange for real money. So this was a debt note. You could take this down to the bank and turn it into the teller, and they'd give you $50 worth of gold. And it was backed by gold. But what happened is over time, they started printing gold certificates without having the gold to back it. It was a smaller percentage of the gold that was in the bank. And it got to a point where they had overprinted, and the Federal Reserve had outsourced the money that they were creating to other countries and so forth. And when that took place, the United States realized they needed to get the gold back in their coffers. And they filed an executive order, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, on May 1st, 1933, this went into effect. This executive order 6102 required people to turn in their gold coin, gold bullion, and gold certificates. Those gold certificates were backed by gold, right? You had to turn them in. And they paid you $21 per ounce. So that's what you got. Now, this was under criminal penalties for violation of this executive order, which was a $10,000 fine or 10 years imprisonment or both. They scared the people to turn in their gold. It was the biggest gold grab in U.S. history. And the long and short of it was they basically took the people's wealth. When they took the people's wealth, they changed the value of an ounce of gold from $21 an ounce to $35 an ounce. Okay? And that's how it went. So they not only took the gold, they got the physical asset back in their vaults. And for those people that turned it in, some people chose not to. But for those people that turned it in, they not only got screwed on having true money in their hands, but they then got screwed on the value of the gold that they had turned in. And so what's so crazy about it is that our own government, trying to be a good patriot, did not look out for the best interest of the populace. What happened over the ensuing years is we started supporting other countries across the globe that needed to have supplies for the wars that they were in. And we also supplied them different things to rebuild their countries after those wars were over. And long and short of it is we didn't accept their currency. We wanted gold. And so we took those people's gold, those countries' gold, as payment for the products and services that we had rendered to them. Well, we started printing money, and we became the reserve currency of the world. And we had the most cash of any other country kind of spread all over the globe. Those countries had the ability at the central bank level to return US dollars for 35 US dollars for an ounce of gold. And they started to do that. Now, this was good delivery gold, right? So rectangular bars, the things that you see in those movies, where they've got the big gold bars. A good delivery gold is 24 karat, 49 gold, 999.9. It's rectangular in shape. It's used to settle debt, and it's made by a London good deliverist refinery, okay? LBMA, accredited refinery. That gold was what was transferred to the U.S. that we accepted for the products, services, supplies that we needed to provide for them. But we had then gone out and printed more money backed by nothing here in the U.S. to a point where the central governments of the other countries said, you know what? We're using all this money. They're just putting out of thin air. We're going to turn it back into the U.S. and get our gold back. And they started to do that. And they realized here at the United States, they said, you know what? We can't do it. We've printed more money than we have gold to give back. And then it was Nixon and this big shock almost 50 years ago. It's like 48 years ago now, August 15th, 1971. The White House unveiled a drastic reordering of the global financial system. Basically, he stopped the ability for those countries to turn in their US dollars and we'd give them gold back. And they didn't want to do it. It was crazy. We had kind of gone back on our deal. And what was crazy about it was the rest of the world went along with that process. The reason I'm telling you this is because I want you to understand a little bit of history. And for you to think that the government's going to take care of you is completely foolish. You're going to have to look out for yourself because no one else is looking out for you. And you're going to have to take measures in your own hands to protect your wealth. When Nixon did this, the world went along with it. Don't know why, but they did. And we started continuing to print more money. We had gotten out of that situation. The central banks of the world started buying a lot of gold at that particular point because they were going to back stuff with gold. They wanted to have a secure, real money system for their own coffers just in case they ever needed it. It was a secure and storehouse of wealth by having gold. And there was a huge influx in gold interest at that particular point. The US dollar, though, had been sent out there around the world. And people, we had printed so much that when Ronald Reagan got into office in 1981, we were approaching a $1 trillion mark of debt. Debt. Not assets anymore. Debt. And I think today we are the #1 largest debtor nation in the entire world. Yet we still hold the reserve currency status. But to Reagan, it was incomprehensible in 1981 to be almost at $1 trillion in debt. In 1981, he tried to explain it to the populace by saying if we had a trillion $1 bills and we put the first one on the surface of the earth and stacked it on top of each other, we'd be about a third of the way from the earth to the moon in currency that had been printed, being almost at $1 trillion. By 2013, we were 4 times back and forth from the moon in currency that had been printed. This is the national debt up to September 2018. As you can see, it's continued to grow beyond where it was the previous year. And I just printed this off this morning from the us.clock.org. We're at 21.9 trillion now, and it's growing by the second every single day. There's no way that this is going to get paid back. Something's going to have to change in our system. If you notice down in the right-hand corner, dollar to gold ratio, 5,606 per ounce. If you look at the value of our gold today, it's been suppressed, and we're at about $1,300 an ounce of gold. If you look at silver, $192 to every one US dollar. Okay, so $192 is what it should be at. It's like $15, $16 right now. Do you understand that the debt that has come has caused us a lot of challenges with our purchasing power? See, when we write a check, there must be sufficient funds in our account to cover the check that we just wrote. But when the Federal Reserve writes a check and creates money, there's no bank deposit that it's drawn from. It's just created out of thin air. And with that, they can produce as much as they want. It's leaving a world of debt for our heirs, for us. And this is one of those pictures like you're in Hawaii looking at the top of the volcano. This is just a tip above the clouds. If you looked at the base, it would be so unbelievable you wouldn't even be able to comprehend it. And 21 trillion, if that's all there is, and that's specified on all these sites, if that's all there is, it's incomprehensible to any of us. It's a world of bubbles. We've had bubbles in the past. Remember the dot-com bubble? Remember the housing bubble? Remember all of the different financial crashes that have taken place throughout the world? We've got history to prove it. In 1921 to 24, Weimar Republic hyperinflation took place. This was a massive amount of inflation that took place, well, basically overnight when it hit 1923. We went from 17,000 marks to $1 US in January of 1923 to December 1923 at 4.2 trillion marks for $1. Basically, their money was worthless. That gentleman that has the wheelbarrow right there with a full pallet full of cash, if he put that on the street, people would have thrown the cash in the street and stolen the wheelbarrow. It had more value than the cash itself. People pulped it. People were heating their homes with currency because it was worthless. And we think that it can't happen to us here in the United States. Well, it's happened all over the globe. This is Zimbabwe in 2008. They started with normal bills, ones, fives, tens, 20s, hundreds, and then they added 3 zeros to them, to 10,000 to 20,000. The guy in the center picture is paying his rent for the month. How'd you like to take that much cash and walk around just to pay your rent for the month? And then the little boy in the right-hand corner has $200,000 notes up there. He's not at any kind of jeopardy whatsoever, somebody stealing it from him, because it's little less than pennies in his hand. Because everything went to 500 million, 50 billion, went up to $100 trillion bill. This guy's paying for lunch. These guys are billionaires and trillionaires on paper, but they were broke and starving to death. You have to understand this has happened. And we here in the United States have been very fortunate to have a currency that has maintained some purchasing power. But there's been plenty of examples around the globe where their currency went debunked overnight. Just recently in Cyprus, people had their accounts wiped out, never to have any money returned. Venezuela's in the news right now, where their bolivar, when they've started with problems, they said, well, turn in your bolivar, you got this much time to do it. And what happened was when they made the announcements They actually shut the banks down. You couldn't go into Exchange or Boulevard into some other form before they actually changed the value on it. And we're seeing the aftermath of what's taking place in Venezuela today. So this has happened throughout history. And you have to understand that prosperity gives you redemptive value. You actually have something of true value in your hand. When you hold on to fiat currency, paper derivatives, paper assets, that's all you've got. It's as good as the paper it's written on. It leads to ruin and repudiation. Okay, through inflation, your value goes away. It kind of floats out of the sky. But most people don't understand what repudiation means. So I'm going to give you the definition. It's the refusal, especially by public authorities, to acknowledge a contract or a debt. Isn't that exactly what happened to those particular people that had all this money that the governments had created that was now worthless to them and their families? You have to prepare in advance. For any of those people in those countries who had that type of thing happen to them, they understand the value of a physical asset, gold, that would have protected their families a lot better than their currency did. And you have to understand that the central banks today, what's crazy about this is the central banks today in 2018, just this last year, the gold purchases for the central banks hit a record high in 2018. Not only was 2018 a banner year for central bank gold purchases, but it was also the highest amount for more than 5 decades that they purchased. Okay, central banks haven't bought this much gold in 1 year since Nixon ended the convertibility of the US dollar in gold in 1971. And I like to look at patterns. If they're doing it, should we be thinking about doing it? Right? Yeah, but Derek, it's expensive to buy. Yeah, but paper money will eventually return to its intrinsic value, which is zero. Voltaire said this hundreds of years ago. See, this isn't something that's new. This has happened over the generations of time. And people get it watered down, forget about it until it happens to them again. We want to be proactive in the way we're doing things. We purchase things for the what if in our life, like car insurance, health insurance, home insurance, just to protect that which we own, right? Well, why wouldn't you own gold as insurance to protect a portion of the wealth that you hold in paper? Think about it. If I buy car insurance at the beginning of the year and I go and I drive that whole year, you have to have it, right? So that just in case you're in an accident and you don't want to get sued, lose your other property, you need to have that as insurance for you. But if I don't get in an accident, if I don't get a ticket, if I don't do anything wrong for the year and I have a nice, safe year, do I ever get that premium back? No, it was insurance, right? Same thing with health insurance, same thing with homeowners insurance. Think about this. When you purchase gold and you secure that as insurance for your family against your paper money, okay, so you take a portion of your savings that you hold in the bank and turn it into gold, just whatever you decide is the right amount. After that year is up and maybe nothing really changed a whole lot, did you lose the value of that gold? No, you still have it. Where the car insurance, you have to pay a new premium at the beginning of the next year, just in case something were to happen. Well, we look at this as a way to think differently. With Karatbars International, what we're trying to help people do is understand the value of gold as insurance, as a hedge for your wealth. And you take a portion of what you would save in paper, turn it into gold, and hold on to it. That's the first step. And this is a way of life for us. We do it consistently. And if we do it consistently, a little bit over a long period of time adds up to a whole bunch, a lot. So having gold just makes sense. It's maintained value for thousands of years and is recognized globally. Gold has outperformed cash as an appreciating form of wealth. If wealth is built on stocks, bonds, and cash, then gold offers a way to offset the risk of those devastating paper losses that can occur. I'm sure everybody on this call today knows someone or maybe experienced themselves some paper investment that you went out there to do. Did not turn out like you wish it would have. and you lost on the other end. See, we don't have to worry about that with the gold value. It has held its value for generations. Gold is an acceptable form of payment if the money supply or system in a country should collapse. Buying in transaction-friendly increments of gold makes logical sense for use in the marketplace. Heaven forbid we ever needed to use it. And acquiring physical gold helps maintain personal privacy of your wealth. Like in this digital world that we live in today, every single thing you do is being watched. And when you take a portion of that money and you purchase gold with it, you have retained some privacy of your wealth for generations to come. Hopefully you never need to use it and you can pass it down to your heirs when you're gone. So the question is, how do you get the most of the highest quality gold with the least amount of time, effort, and money out of your own personal finances? Well, the question is answered by using a system. And that's what Karatbars International is. It's a system to help you acquire gold manageably and be able to protect a portion of your wealth in a savings account backed by gold. This is physical gold in your hand. This isn't on paper saying that you own it. This is deliverable 24 karat 49 gold in rectangular shapes, like good delivery gold, from a London good delivery list refinery. It's LBMA accredited. The headquarters for Karatbars started in 2011 in Stuttgart, Germany. Harold Seitz, the founder and CEO, was in the gold business in the past, but what he saw was there was a lot of very wealthy people that partake in that whole process. And he says, why don't we shrink it down to where people can affordably purchase it and develop a business with it and help the world be able to get out of the system of debt. And his mission statement was this: my mission is to produce the highest quality gold available in the market, make it easily accessible to the masses of honest people around the world at a price point everyone can afford. My goal is to help millions find financial freedom from the current system of debt with Karatbars. And that is what we did. That's what has happened with Karatbars. The idea is to purchase gold in small units with immediate availability, diversifying your finances. And just so you know, less than 1% of the world's population owns gold today. So we have a massive market. We have an educational system here to help people understand the value of gold, which isn't taught in schools. And then we have a safe place to purchase it from with the highest asset class of gold you can get your hands on. And what's nice is it is affordable. We've got great pricing. And we've got a system to boot to help you actually acquire more gold than you could do otherwise if you utilize the system. These are our classic Karatbars. So this is a 1 gram, 2.5 gram, and 5 gram bar. This is the front and back of each of those cards. So you've got holograms. You've got a refinery on the front of it. You got serial numbers, Sayer signatures. It tells you how much weight is in that particular bar. It also has DNA protection and black light technology so that you can know that this is legitimate. Karatbars are safe, they're secure. We've been in business for a long time and they've never had an issue with their gold. We never want to have issues like this that sometimes people experience, where they've got the technology to put a very thin layer of 24 karat 49 gold over what they call tungsten. And tungsten is the same weight and density as physical gold, and they can basically counterfeit it. We have never had that issue with Karatbars, and we never will. Every single piece is checked before it's put into the cards and sent with FedEx signature authorization to your doorstep upon your request for delivery. We also have a coin that Harold created, a tax-free coin. It's got a real gold bar in the middle of it. Again, good delivery gold, 24 karat, 49 rectangular in shape. And that's around nickel, silver, and some brass around the side. So this is an amazing product that he has that he was very proud of when he created it. And this is all about honor, respect, love, and friendship, which is on that coin as well on the back side. So Harold took us into that realm. And in 2015, from 2011 to 2015, that was our main business, teaching people how to buy gold consistently and save a portion of their wealth in physical metal. But he also had visions for the future. And so his promise was to change some things so that we would have it in the digital age. So his promise now is, I promise you that Karatbars and Gold Standard Bank will continue promoting and defending the financial freedom and security of every human being independently and in a decentralized manner. Our future is unlimitedly digital. It rests on a solid foundation of pure gold at the same time. So what he did was he created a system where we can actually utilize our gold more efficiently and effectively in the marketplace. We started in about 120 countries around the globe. We're now in 131 countries around the globe because of the digital nature of this process. In January of 2017, on January 9th, he created what he called cash gold. These were smaller incremental amounts that could be used in the marketplace as well. So before we had 1 gram, 2.5 and 5 gram bars, well, he dropped it down to 1/10 of a gram, 1/20th of a gram, 40th and 60th of a gram of gold. So that's real gold on what I would call snake leather. It doesn't feel like a normal US paper dollar bill. It's like got a plastic sheen over the top of it. And that is real gold, 1/10 of a gram of real gold on that paper. If you got 60th of a gram, you've got 6 of those pieces of 1/10 of a gram on there. So beautifully done. It's all protected. It's all secure. But that's real gold on that. And he created that system through Karatcoin Bank. Okay, and the Gold Standard Bank that we have today and Karatbars as a whole still has all of the same stuff that we've always had. And we've added not only the paper cash gold, but if you look in the bottom left-hand corner, we have a 1 gram, a 3 gram, and a 6 gram bar as well. It's just like our other Karatbars that were created in the past, but they've got individual 1 gram bars of gold in them. Now, again, the company was established in 2011. We currently have over 500,000 affiliates worldwide involved with Karatbars. The infrastructure is still headquartered in Stuttgart, Germany. We have other aspects of our business, this what I would call a KB universe, that has a lot of other sections of our company in different places. So we have things going on in Hong Kong and Singapore, Germany, Dubai, Slovenia, Miami, Bangladesh. The system has expanded with the technology that has expanded for us. This is the KB universe, Gold Standard Bank, Karat Gold, Karatcoin Bank. You have the Hong Kong Trading Bank. They have 2 mines now that have gold that is being produced out of those mines on a daily basis to back this infrastructure, to back the crypto coins that we have. And we've got a whole system lined up, and some of it has been applied and some of it is going to be applied this year. And it should be complete by the end of the year. But this is a bigger picture of what we're doing. The Karat Gold Corporation, again, was founded in 2015 for the Karat Pay system, the use of cash gold in the marketplace. We could do that digitally. And Karat Pay is like what you would think of as Apple Pay or PayPal. So the system has then gone to a whole new level of technology. We still believe in saving gold on a monthly basis, physically possessing that gold somewhere that you can have and store safely. You can have it stored in Germany if you like, in a safe, secure vault. It's private to you. You can order that gold anytime you want. You can have a portion left there. You can have a portion delivered. It's your prerogative. But you can also purchase cash gold and use it in a system where you can actually use your cell phone or your computer to transfer a payment to somebody in gold if you want to do that. Okay? It's amazing the technology that we have access to. And that CaratPay system makes it very transferable. Anybody else that has a CaratPay account, you can transfer it right to their own e-wallet. It's a beautiful plan. We also have ATM machines that are coming out soon. This is a whole new ecosystem where you're going to have the ability to put fiat currency in there to get cash gold. You can have cash gold to purchase different things like cryptocurrencies through a system, all through a mechanism of an ATM machine. These will be coming out soon. They have that new encrypted phone that's coming out at the end of March. I mean, there's a lot of things that are coming, and you guys are ahead of the game with seeing this today. On top of it, we have blockchain. We're going to have our own decentralized blockchain called mainnet. And this is going to keep track of all of the transactions that are taking place. It's going to create a whole network for us and have lower costs for other vendors in the marketplace that would like to use this. For us, if we want to go out there and utilize our gold in different ways electronically. The KBC coin was established in February of 2018, and on July 4th, 2019, this KBC coin will be exchangeable into physical gold. So this is the first cryptocurrency that's backed by gold and exchangeable into physical gold. On July 4th, it is going to be Gold Independence Day. And Herald Sites has promised that 100 KBC coins is equal to 1 gram of gold. The KBC ICO, initial coin offering, is obviously over, but we have a new coin called the KCB coin that's available now. And this is going to be for infrastructure, for the assets of the company. And both the KBC and the KCB, which is currently being issued out at this particular point in time, will be utilized through the mainnet system, which is our blockchain, to do all the transaction overviews with it, keep track of the ledger, and make sure that every single coin is being used properly. Okay, that particular coin, along with the KBC coin, will then be hard forked, which means merged together into one coin called the GSC coin. And this is a projection of what the GSC coin is going to be in the future. So where 100 KBC coins is equal to 1 gram, this is a slide that came from Harold himself over time. And again, this is projected. This isn't actual. We're not sure how it's going to work exactly yet. But that GSC coin, which is the combination of the KBC coin and the KCB coin that's taking place in October, will have less coins required to have 1 gram of gold in the future. Okay, there's a bright future for this as well. They also have their own exchange. So this is called Karatbars. This is part of what you get when you have an affiliateship, is you have access to Karatbars. Again, our websites, our system with Karatbars, they don't cost you anything. When you register as a free affiliate, you get a website, you get access to all these other sites. There's no monthly fees, there's no annual dues. There's no renewals. You have your account forever. There's no mins or max on purchases. It is independent for you. It is your site, your private portal to do your business as you see fit for yourself. And you can go out there, and if you are interested in developing a team of people and showing other people how they can do what you're doing, they'll compensate you for doing that. But this Karatbars is an exchange in and of itself, where you can actually make transactions like other cryptocurrency exchanges are out there. This will be ours that we'll be able to use with our ecosystem. So the compensation plan that we have with Karatbars, we're not going to go through on this particular webinar, but we have a very generous compensation plan. We get paid many, many different ways. There's 8 primary income options, but we have other ways to generate income as well. This income is something that can be residual and passive, and we have something for everyone. And you get paid all of these ways if you have an account with a package on your account. You can talk to the person who referred you to this webinar today, get back with them, have them explain how you can set up your free affiliate or customer account, how to load your KYC documents, that's your know your customer documents, is something so they know you're a real person and that you've got a physical address where they can deliver gold to. You have to upload a couple documents. And then the person who invited you on this call, in this webinar today, you can ask them about, how do I get a package so it opens up the full compensation plan for me? The compensation plan has been explained in another webinar that I have done, and you can watch that to understand how each of these things work to your advantage if you are willing to go out there and develop a business with it. We get paid on a private issue MasterCard. So the commissions that you earn, you get paid on a private issue Karatbars MasterCard that you can use anywhere. The MasterCard is accepted worldwide. You can put in an ATM machine and pull out cash. Whatever you need to do, this is your ecosystem. So think about this. What we're offering to you guys is the following. When you get started with Karatbars, you have to use money from your job or from your business, your own personal finances, to get something started. And you're going to start buying some gold through the system. And if that's all you want to do, you can do that forever. However you want to do it, at whatever pace you want to do it, however much you want to purchase. But if you want to use the Karatbars system to help you acquire gold from the system and acquire an additional income stream, you can build your commissions by building your business. And as you build your business, it's like any conventional business. The more volume creates more revenue for the company. The more revenue for the company creates more commissionable income for you. And that income that you produce actually goes on to this Karatbars MasterCard that you can use on your own site to purchase more gold with. So you're basically getting gold from the system instead of having to use your personal finances to purchase it. It can happen that way for you. It's happened for thousands of people with Karatbars International. And there's no reason why you can't be part of it and use the whole ecosystem in and of itself. Keep your personal finances out of it once you have built your business so that it's direct, giving you commissions on a daily basis. We get paid weekly and we get paid monthly. It's an amazing, amazing opportunity. And I'm not trying to oversell it. I'm not trying to sell it. If I sell you in today, somebody can sell you out tomorrow. But I encourage you to do your homework on this because it's real and it works. And it's a true, honest opportunity for you. On top of it, we have long-term incentive programs where you can also win prizes on top of your commissions, on top of the gold that you get from our system. And you can offset your cost of the gold to zero based off your effort. But then you have these niceties as well. So just some of the benefits for being part of Karatbars include the following. It's a work from home business. You can do it part-time, full-time, or in your spare time. You can develop a significant passive residual income. You have multiple income streams paid weekly and monthly. There's no equipment required, no inventory required, no employees required. It's got a low upfront business startup cost, and you have many options of that. There's no volume requirements, no license or education requirements. Purchasing gold satisfies an important need for everyone, so you can feel confident in sharing with others what you're doing for yourself and your family. It creates generational wealth because these businesses you can pass down to your heirs. So wherever when you pass away, wherever you built your business to that point can be picked up from the person that you have passed this business on to. They pick up right where you left off. It gives you the opportunity in local and global markets. Again, 131 countries we're currently approved in to do business in. And it helps you maintain personal privacy. You guys, I encourage you to get back with a person who invited you on this webinar today and talk to them about more specifics. They can send you some more information. They can answer any specific questions you have.